What's goody YTBC? What's good fight fans, boxing heads around the world? B Marsh with another boxing video. So this vid right here is a response to 78 Sports TV, you know what I mean? 78 Sports TV, he posed the question here on the YTBC on YouTube about basically some mythical matchups, you know what I mean? So, this was something interesting. I listened to it. It was pretty interesting. And I said, hey, he asked everybody, to leave a comment or make a video in response. So I said, yo, let me make a response video considering, you know what I mean? If I had to write a comment, man, I'd probably write a whole chapter, man. It'd be too long. And you check, that's the reason I make videos now, right? So, yo, the first matchup he asked, you know what I mean? And this is a little something similar to what I do on my channel when I do my fights we didn't get to see series. But on my series, I basically do fights that were supposed to happen or should have happened. Like, for example, Riddick Bowe versus Lennox Lewis. Fights of guys who were champions or contenders around the same time, but for whatever reason, it ain't happened, you know what I mean? But the first one the man 78 Sports TV asked about was Johnny Tapia versus Chocolatito Gonzalez at super flyweight. That's 115 pounds. And I'm going to have to pick the man Johnny Tapia, mi vida loca, Mr. 505, Mr. Albuquerque, you know what I mean? This guy right here, man, he had never lost a fight at super flyweight with over 40 plus wins at super flyweight, you know what I mean? We seen Chocolatito step out to super flyweight and Quadras gave him a run for his money. I had to draw. Some people had Chocolatito slightly winning. Some people had Quadras slightly winning, you know what I mean? But I think Mi Vida Loca is a tough guy, man. This guy would go through hell and back. He doesn't quite pack a punch. I think this guy, Chocolatito, is a harder puncher. Probably at the lower weights. But at 115, you see he couldn't do nothing with Quadras, like get him out of there. And you seen his face afterwards, right? Well, the man Mi Vida Loca, man, I think his work rate, that left hook to the liver, I think, man, he would beat the man Chocolatito, you know what I'm saying? I probably have Mi Vida Loca winning that fight by a close fight, winning 7 rounds to 5, you know what I mean? Probably a split decision by the judges, you know what I'm saying? Okay, the next matchup Miss 78 Sports asked about was a matchup between at 147 Timothy Bradley and Ike Quartey. And I'm definitely going to pick Ike Quartey, man, the man from Ghana. That jab stick he had was stupid, you know what I mean? That man, he had the best jab in boxing at the time in the 90s, late 90s. You check it, I think the man, this guy, Bradley, is a smaller guy. Sure, he's shorter. And I think, man, he'd be stopped in his tracks, you know what I'm saying, by the man Quartey's jab, you know what I mean? Quartey would just use his jab, you know what I'm saying? He'd use his high guard, peekaboo style. You know how them Ghanaian fighters fight. Like Josh Clottey, keep that high guard, you know what I'm saying? Block some punches. The man, Timothy Bradley, in my opinion, would not be able to hurt the man, Ike Quartey. And Ike Quartey's jab was pretty lethal, and I think he wins a fight on points as well, you know what I mean? But winning a split decision. Okay? Another fight we have right here, 78 Sports asked about was Felix Trinidad versus Keith One-Time Thurman. And in this fight, I'm going to have to pick Tito Trinidad, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if there's any welterweight who's made any more title defenses than the man Tito Trinidad when he had that IBF belt from, I believe, from like 95 to like 99, he was a champion with all title defenses, you know what I'm saying? I think, he'd probably get dropped by One Time, but I think he would drop One Time too, and I probably got him stopping One Time on his feet. Probably in the 9th round, the 9th or 10th round, Tito Trinidad wins by stoppage, you know what I'm saying? I think Tito Trinidad might hit the canvas early, but I think he'll apply relentless pressure on the man, would come forward on the man. One time will be trying to run like he did against Collazo and Porter, but I think he'd get caught, especially in the rib cage, and that would slow him down, and he might get caught with an overhand right by Tito, and that'd be the beginning of the end. He'd get stopped on his feet. So I got that one late, 9th or 10th round stoppage for Felix Trinidad, you know what I'm saying? Now imagine if I had to write all this shit down in 78's comment section, man. I'd be there for hours. And I was beginning to. And I got to the third person and I said, you know what, forget about it. Let me make a vid, man, because, like 78 said, ain't too much popping in boxing in this October. So let's do it, you know what I mean? The next matchup he had was Ike Quartey, right? No, that's Vernon Forrest. Vernon Forrest versus Sean Porter, you know what I mean? And this is an excellent fight right here. Two styles right here that mesh well. The man Sean Porter is a kind of guy who's a relentless pressure fighter. And the man, Vernon Forrest, is a guy who can box, but he's also a guy who can slug it out too, who likes to fight, you know what I'm saying? Especially when he gets tapped on the jaw, you know. But I think this man at welterweight, man, he'll definitely beat the man Porter. Yo, look, go back on YouTube and look. There's footage of Sean Porter sparring Mosley, and it looks like Mosley was getting the better of that sparring session, all right? And you already know what this guy right here did to the #1 pound-for-pound fighter on the planet at the time. Vernon Forrest, what he did to Shane Mosley, you know what I mean? He beat that man. I think he dropped him in the first or second round. Man, he just was too much, that jab. He just was just a much better fighter than Mosley on them 2 fights, you know what I mean? And I think that the same thing will go down with this guy Mosley. I'm sorry, with Sean Porter. He ain't going to knock Sean Porter out, but I believe he wins a unanimous decision. 8 rounds to 4 for the man from Atlanta. Rest in peace, Mr. Vernon Forrest, the first client of Al Heyman. Don't ever forget that, you know what I'm saying? The next fight we have, 78 Sports TV asked about, was Miguel Cotto at 154 pounds versus the man Fernando Vargas. And that's one of the easiest fights 78 Sports TV asked about, and I'm going with Fernando Vargas, you know what I mean? I wasn't a big time Fernando Vargas fan, you know what I'm saying? I thought they robbed Winky Wright when he fought against Fernando Vargas, you know what I mean? I rooted for Trinidad to whoop his ass, and he did. He stopped him. I believe it was in the 12th round, you know what I mean? Shane Mosley, he beat him up twice, you know what I'm saying? Ike Corte, Fernando Vargas beat him. That was a good W for him, you know what I'm saying? But I think at 154, Cotto was never good at 154, you know what I mean? Who did he ever beat at 154? Only that Jewish guy he beat. You know, what was his name? He was a Yuri Foreman, the guy beat him to the Yankee Stadium. You check it? But at 154, he lost to Trout. He lost to guys like, he lost to Cannoli. Close fight, you know what I'm saying? Who else he lose to? You know, he's not great at weight. You know, if it's at 140, 147, that's Cotto in his prime. But Fernando Vargas is not coming down there. So at 154, like 78 Sports TV asked, I'm definitely going to have to go with Fernando Vargas. He's going to win the fight possibly by points. He's going to win on points, you know what I mean? A unanimous decision, like 8 rounds to 4. The next fight right here we got is Cannoli. Speaking of Cannoli, we got Cannoli Saul Alvarez versus the greatest junior middleweight ever, in my opinion. This guy's a 4-time champion at 154, and that's the man Terrible Terry Norris, you know what I mean? Now, Terrible Terry Norris is a guy who packs a punch, you know, a fearless fighter, a guy willing to walk through hell and back and hell scorching fire to get to your jaw, and he usually does. But he also get, you know, he leaves himself open too, and he's quite a chinny guy himself, you know what I mean? So the man Cannoli has a chance to tap him on his jaw, but I think the man, you know, this guy, you see what he did, what Terry Norris did to guys like John Mugabe, you know what I'm saying? You seen what he did to guys like Meldrick Taylor, you know? Meldrick Taylor was coming up in weight, but, you know, I think Terry Norris, he gets him out of there. He's going to stop Cannoli probably in the 11th round stoppage. I mean, he's not going to knock him out. He'll stop him on his feet. Cannoli will take too much punishment. Okay? The next one, 78 Sports TV asked about in mythical matchups, was at 135 between Roberto Duran and Julio Cesar Chavez. And this is one of the hardest picks to make, and I'm probably going to have to go with the greatest lightweight ever, Roberto Duran. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody beating him. I mean, he's lost once to, what's his name, Esteban de Jesus, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, the guy avenged them losses. He beat him twice, 2 out of 3 times. You know, the man had only lost 1 fight in the whole decade of the 70s. He was like 69-1 or 70-1. You know, the man, Julio Cesar Chavez, was great at that weight, but I'm going to have to go with Duran. Duran winning on points, you know what I'm saying? Unanimous decision, 8 rounds to 4. The next fight he asked about, 78 did, was Salvador Sanchez versus Manny Pacquiao, and this is going to be at featherweight. Manny Pacquiao has been a featherweight lineal champion when he beat Barrera, but this guy Salvador Sanchez was on his own planet at featherweight, man. One of the greatest fighters ever out of Mexico. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, you know, he died too early in his life in a vehicle accident, you know, but I'm going to have to go with the man Salvador Sanchez, man. You see what this man Salvador Sanchez did to Wilfredo Gomez. Did you see what he did to that man? And Wilfredo Gomez was a stupid puncher. Stupid puncher. A bigger puncher than the man Manny Pacquiao, you know what I'm saying? One of the best punchers I've ever seen, especially at them smaller weights. You check it, but the man Salvador Sanchez was a warrior, man. You seen that fight he had with Azuma Nelson, you know what I'm saying? Man, Azuma Nelson, man, tried his best, you know, and Azuma Nelson's never been stopped like that. And that was a young, early, fresh Azuma Nelson, you know what I'm saying? And he got a beating, you know what I mean? Got stopped on his feet in that 14th round by the great Salvador Sanchez, you know? The man Danny Little Red Lopez, he beat Salvador Sanchez, you know, but, you know, Salvador Sanchez was just great, man, and I'm going to have to go with him. He's going to stop Manny Pacquiao probably in the 6th round with a body shot or something, you know what I mean? Okay. The next one we have is James Toney versus Triple G at middleweight, of course, 160. And if God ever asked me if I wanted the perfect boxing style, man, to me I always loved this man James Toney's ability. You know, James Toney and Floyd Mayweather, them Michigan guys, man. I like their boxing styles. You know what I mean? This guy, man, his inside game, that shoulder roll. Man, them counter punching. Man, this guy, man, James Toney was a beautiful boxer to watch. You see what he did to Michael Nine. You know what I'm saying? Come from behind and knocked him out. You know, them fights with Mike McCollum. You know, even though I had him losing the first fight. You know, even fights with Roy Jones. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this guy, James Toney, was a great fighter. Even though he lost to Roy Jones. You know, we see what he did to the man Prince Charles Albert. You know what I'm saying? Prince Charles Martin, you know what I mean? James Toney was a good fighter, man. Great fighter, and I think he knocks out Triple G. He's going to knock him out, man. I think probably knock him out in he'll probably knock him out in the 8th round, you know what I'm saying? 8th round knockout, Triple G will be coming forward. Yeah, Triple G got a chin, you know, but I think he's going to get caught with something he ain't never seen, you know what I mean? Something he ain't see coming. And I think this was the last but not least matchup 78 Sports posed on his channel. And like I said, this is a response video to these mythical matchups that 78 Sports TV was asking about. And the final one is Floyd Mayweather versus Tommy Hearns. Two guys from Michigan again. Okay, this guy, Tommy Hearns, man, you know, this guy's length, man, you know. Man, that length and reach would be too much for Floyd, man. Straight, accurate punches, straight down the line, you know what I'm saying? You know, the man Floyd Mayweather, he himself has a stupid long reach for a guy his height, you know what I'm saying? But I think Tommy Hearns would be too much for him, you know what I mean? This is one guy I do see in boxing history who can give Floyd Mayweather problems and possibly beat him. And I got him beating Floyd Mayweather. Tommy Hearns beats him with that long jab, you know what I'm saying? The right hand followed right behind it. Floyd Mayweather will be trying to move. But I don't think he'd be throwing enough punches to beat the man Tommy Hearns, you know what I'm saying? He'd be trying to move, but he wouldn't throw enough punches, you know what I'm saying? And ultimately, he'd lose on points, you know what I mean? The judges wouldn't give Floyd Mayweather the victory because he ain't throwing enough punches and he was moving because the only guys who's really beating Tommy Hearns is strong physical guys like Hagler and Iran Barkley and these type of guys, you know what I'm saying? These are the type of guys giving him problems. Other than that, you know, I mean, Floyd is a slick fighter and who's also hard to hit, you know what I'm saying? But I think Tommy Hearns, you know, he'll be definitely at the higher work rate. And he wins a unanimous decision, 7 rounds to 5, you know what I mean? Against Floyd Mayweather, all right? So that's my response to 78 Sports TV. You know what I'm saying? That was a great mythical matchups he was asking about, you know what I mean? And I've got to go with these guys that I mentioned, all right? So let me know who you guys going to pick in these mythical matchups. All right, B Marsh Boxing, thanks for listening. Peace.